because President Akufo-Addo has refunded an amount of 237,000 cedis to the Controller and Accountant General. Communications Director at the Jubilee House, Eugene Ahin, at a media briefing, said the amount represents salary increments paid him from recommendations made by the Emoluments Committee.
At this year's May Day celebration, the President indicated that he had taken the decision to freeze salary increments for this year, that is 2021, for himself as President, the Vice President, for ministers, for deputy ministers, and also all other appointees of the executive. For some reason, when the President received his accrued salary from January to August this year, it was noticed that the directive he gave had not been enforced. Let me use that word. So, leading by example, on Thursday, the 2nd of September, he wrote a check amounting to 237,974 cedis to the pensions and salaries account of the Controller and Accountant General's Department to reflect the decision he has taken to freeze salary increments for himself. And he has instructed the Chief of Staff to ensure that the Vice President, the Ministers of State, Deputy Ministers of State, and other appointees of the Executive also refund increments that have so far been made to them, increments which we are not entitled to for this year, because he has indicated that there should be a freeze on all increments for members of the Executive.
Director of Communications at the Presidency, Eugene Ahin, there. Joining me via Zoom is co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption, Senanu. Thank you, Edem, for joining me. Now, this move by the Presidency would be a gesture to less burden the public purse in the circumstances we find ourselves in, correct?
Well, yes, I think that with everybody feeling the pinch, given that directive and then noticing that it had not been complied with, and therefore showing leadership by saying return this amount and asking his vice as well as the ministers to do same. It's an important gesture in trying to address the gap, the budgetary gap, the fiscal gap we are confronted with.
Some have said that, well, when you take these fine steps, and be seen as demonstrating same, and in the other vein, your appointees who are being seen to be engaging in corrupt activities, etc., are working, then there is a sort of a disconnect between the two, activities. What do you say to that?
Well, it's always important for leadership to strike the right balance in all the aspects or facets of work that they do. So, yes, it's not enough to give back. It is also important that in the other frontiers where we are combating corruption and graft, we are seen to be strong in setting the right kinds of precedents. So we will still expect the president to speak up when he sees that his appointees are not towing a line that protects the public purse. We'll still expect that we won't have any kind of expenses that are unnecessary or a waste of public resources. And at the same time, one would expect that the sectors like services, like construction, like agriculture, a lot more engagement in seeing how we can boost the economy in those sectors to create jobs and to put more money in people's pockets. All of that will be happening.
And I know this, let me put you on the spot on this one. We just heard that the communications director of the presidency denied that the president used some luxurious jets on his recent travels to Germany, etc., and the United Kingdom specifically. I know the Citizens Movement Against Corruption, many other individuals had raised concerns about the president's recent trips and travels, the cost of these travels. Does the answer by the communications director satisfy you, for example?
What was his answer again?
Well, he says they claim that the president hired the luxurious jets in excess of, $1,400 per hour, etc. Is not the case.
I think that it's important for all of us that the kind of decisions that are being taken align with the current environment where we are all facing difficult times. I haven't yet heard a clear explanation why we are not using our own jets and why we are not flying normal. And I think that if the government spokesperson, the presidential spokesperson, will avert his mind to trying to explain why we are still not exploring or exploiting other cheaper sources. It will be very helpful for all of us as citizens to understand if there is a security concern, what exactly is going on, because perhaps we could do much better than we are doing at the moment.
Thank you very much. Adam Senanu is coach